The first thing I notice about the building is the smell. It's not rot, not mildew, just old. The kind of smell wood makes when it's absorbed years of heat and conversation. The hallway air feels heavy, faintly sweet, like dust trapped inside a memory. The landlord, a man in his 60s with nicotine fingers, hands me the keys with a paper smile. Unit 3B, you're lucky, one of the quiet ones. Only issue, don't open the bedroom closet, it's sealed off. We'll get maintenance to fix it later. He says it too fast, like he's said it before, like he doesn't want me to ask. I nod, because I don't have the energy to question anything anymore. Divorce does that to you. You start craving stillness more than answers. The unit is small, living room, kitchenette, one bedroom. The window looks out onto the narrow alley between this building and the next, brick against brick. No sunlight ever finds the floor. The furniture I brought looks wrong here, too new, too clean. The place wants older things, wood, iron, dust. The sealed closet is in the bedroom, painted shut. The landlord wasn't lying. No knob, just a round metal plate where a knob used to be. Someone's painted over it a dozen times. I can still see the faint outline of the original wood, and beneath that, a lighter patch. Like something once leaned there for years, a piece of furniture, or a person's hand. I unpack slowly. I hang my clothes, put my toothbrush in the bathroom, stack a few books beside the bed. Everything echoes a little. Not the echo of emptiness, the echo of thin walls, like someone could be standing behind them, listening. It's an old building, I tell myself. Sound travels, pipes shift, floors groan. Every place has its voice. But later that night, when I'm lying in bed and the city hum fades, I hear something behind the closet. A faint scratching, soft, rhythmic. Not a rat, not the scurry of small claws. This is different. A slow, deliberate scrape, like fingernails testing wood. I freeze. It goes on for maybe 10 seconds, then stops. I stare at the closet door until my eyes water. Then I laugh, quietly, just to prove I can. Because the alternative is thinking someone's on the other side of that wall. Morning light doesn't reach this room. I make coffee, sit by the window, and watch steam rise into grayness. The alley outside is narrow enough that if someone opened their window across from mine, we could reach out and touch fingertips. But none of the windows opposite mine open. They're all locked, curtains drawn. Except one. Directly across. 3rd floor, same height as mine. The glass there looks darker, like it's tinted from the inside, and sometimes, just barely, I see movement behind it. A shadow that isn't attached to the walls. Around noon I go downstairs to check the mailboxes. Mine is new, nameplate still blank. The one below mine reads M. Palmer, faded, scratched. There's a single envelope inside my slot, no stamp, no address, just a folded piece of paper. Inside, in shaky handwriting, don't let her out. That's it. No name, no signature. The paper smells faintly like lavender and dust. I stand there a long time, trying to decide if it's a prank or a leftover from the last tenant. Then I remember the landlord saying, "You're lucky, one of the quiet ones." And I wonder who her is. That night, I hear the scratching again. Not constant, sporadic, deliberate. It happens after 1 a.m., when the building is at its stillest. 3 slow scrapes, then silence. Another 3. Then a pause. It's not random. It's patterned. I lean up in bed, listening harder. There's no way to tell if it's coming from the closet or the wall behind it. The sound travels in old buildings. It might even be the neighbor. But I haven't heard anyone next door. No TV, no voices, no plumbing. Nothing but those soft, measured scratches. Eventually, I fall asleep with the light on. On the third day, I run into the landlord again in the stairwell. He's carrying a toolbox, wiping sweat from his forehead. I ask him about the sealed closet. He stops halfway down the stairs. "Maintenance issue," he says. "Just an old section of piping. You wouldn't want to mess with it." "Why was it sealed?" I ask. He hesitates, just long enough for me to notice. Previous tenant had problems. We sealed it up after she left. Safer that way. Problems? She thought someone was living inside the wall. He tries to laugh. It doesn't sound right. You know how people get. Thin walls, bad wiring. Imagination runs wild. I nod, pretending to understand, but the words stay in my head like dust on air. She thought someone was living inside the wall. That night, I sit on the floor with a flashlight and study the closet door. The paint is layered thick. I can see brush strokes from at least 4 different colors: white, cream, yellow, beige. Each layer sealing something older. When I press my ear against it, the wood is cold. No sound, no scratching, just quiet. I tap once, lightly, and 3 seconds later, I hear 3 taps back. I jerk away so fast I drop the flashlight. The beam rolls across the floor, spinning shadows over the walls. My heart's racing. My palms are slick. I tell myself I imagined it. I tell myself it's echo, vibration, water in the pipes. But deep down, I know echo doesn't answer you. I sleep on the couch that night. I don't dream. I just listen. Every creak, every whisper. The building breathes, and sometimes, beneath it, I think I hear someone else breathing too. The letter is still on my table. Don't let her out. I decide to ask the landlord who lived here before me. He says her name was Marianne Palmer. He says she moved out suddenly, left most of her things behind. Just disappeared one day, he says. Didn't even come back for her deposit. That doesn't sound like moved out. That sounds like vanished. He shrugs it off. People drift. City's full of ghosts, huh? I laugh politely, but it's hollow. That night, around 2 a.m., I hear whispering. Not through the wall, from inside the closet. It's faint, muffled, like someone talking under a blanket. I move closer, slowly, every muscle in my body tight. The voice is female, low, unsteady, repeating something over and over. At first, I think it's a language I don't know. Then I realize she's saying, "He won't stop knocking. He won't stop knocking. He won't stop knocking." Over and over, the same sentence. No emotion, no pause, just mechanical repetition. Like she's remembering, not speaking. I back away. My breath catches on something between a sob and a laugh. Because I finally understand why the closet has so many layers of paint. Not to seal a pipe. Not to cover mold. To muffle sound. To trap something that was already inside. The next morning. The wall behind the closet feels different. When I touch it, it's colder than the rest of the room. And when I press harder, it gives, just slightly, like there's a hollow space behind it. I find a small gap near the baseboard where the paint is cracked. Inside, it's dark, but I see fabric, something soft, stuffed into the space. I pull it out slowly. It's a scarf, old, gray-blue, with dried blood at one end, and written on the inside, in faded marker, Marianne. I don't go to work that day. I don't leave the apartment. I just sit by the window, watching that single dark window across the alley. Around noon, I see something there again, a movement. This time I'm sure of it. Someone standing behind the curtain, watching me. And for a moment, I swear, she's wearing a gray-blue scarf. That night, the whispering doesn't come from behind the closet. It comes from the ceiling. I wake up to the sound of something dragging slowly across the plaster. Long, heavy, like a body being pulled. The light from the street filters through the blinds in thin lines, slicing across the room. I don't move. The dragging stops directly above me. Then, 3 knocks. Soft, measured, perfectly above my bed, like something knows exactly where I sleep. I don't sleep again until dawn. By morning, the air in the apartment feels thicker, warm, sweet. At first I think it's mold. Then I realize it's perfume, faint lavender, the same scent from the letter. I check every corner, every vent, every open space. Nothing. But when I lean close to the closet, the smell grows stronger. And underneath it, something else. Something metallic. Something like blood. I find the landlord outside the next day, smoking on the front steps. I ask him if he ever went inside 3B after Mary Ann left. He flicks ash, looks at me carefully, then says, "We cleaned it, that's all." I tell him about the noise. He shakes his head. Old buildings remember things. Pipes, rats. Don't listen to every sound. But he's sweating, even though it's cold. And before he walks away, he says something quiet, like he's talking to himself. We shouldn't have painted it shut. We should have bricked it over. That night, I sit in the living room, all the lights off, waiting. Around 1 a.m., it starts again. The scratching. But this time it's faster. Panic in the movement. Like whoever's doing it isn't trying to get attention anymore. They're trying to get out. I stare at the closet door. The paint trembles slightly. Dust falling in faint streams. The scratches build, grow louder, sharper, then stop. Silence. The kind of silence that eats the air. Then, a whisper. "Please." I freeze. A woman's voice, weak, close. "Please don't leave me here." Every part of me wants to run, but something heavier roots me to the spot. Because the voice doesn't sound threatening. It sounds tired. I call the landlord the next morning. No answer. I go downstairs. His office door is locked. Mail piled at the base. It looks like he hasn't been there in days. When I ask one of the tenants in the hall, an old woman on the second floor, she gives me a strange look. "Landlord? Mr. Finch?" "Yeah." "He passed away last week. Heart attack." My stomach goes hollow. She nods slowly. "You live in 3B, don't you?" I nod. "He used to say that room would outlive him. Guess he was right." That night I pack my things. I tell myself I'll find a motel, anywhere else. But as I grab the suitcase from under my bed, I hear the tapping again. Not from the closet, from inside the suitcase. I drop it. The sound stops. When I unzip it, the scarf is there, folded neatly on top of my clothes. I had left it on the kitchen counter 2 days ago. I know I did. But now it's here, and it smells stronger. Lavender and iron. I put it back on the counter, step away, and lock the bedroom door. But around 3 a.m., I wake up and it's on the floor beside my bed. The paint around the edges starts to peel. Not random chips, lines, like someone tracing where the door meets the frame. The smell of perfume fills the apartment every night, and every time I walk past that door, I feel a pulse in my ears, faint but steady, like something breathing behind the wood. I try playing music to drown it out. It doesn't work. The rhythm underneath matches my heartbeat perfectly, and when I stop the music, it keeps going. A faint, thudding rhythm from behind the closet, perfectly synced to my pulse, until it slowly begins to separate, like two hearts trying to beat together but falling out of sync. The window opposite mine stays dark most nights, but one evening, around sunset, I see her. She's standing just inside the glass, wearing a gray-blue scarf. I can't see her face clearly, but her hair is long, dark. She doesn't move, doesn't wave, just watches. After a few seconds, she turns away, and I see her hand press against the curtain. It leaves a faint, bloody print. When I blink, she's gone, but the mark stays. It's been 3 weeks since I moved in. I haven't slept more than an hour at a time. Every night the whispering grows louder. Sometimes I hear her walking, soft footsteps behind the wall, circling. Sometimes I hear her crying, sometimes laughing. Tonight I decide to end it. I grab a screwdriver and a hammer. The closet door shakes slightly when I touch it, like something knows. I take a deep breath and wedge the screwdriver into the crack between the frame and the wood. The first layer of paint breaks like paper. A faint hiss escapes, like the room exhaled for the first time in years. The smell hits me, strong, sweet, decaying perfume. I peel back more paint until the outline of the door returns. Then I see it. A small metal latch near the base. It's been bolted from the outside. Someone didn't just seal this door, they locked it. I unscrew it slowly, hands shaking, sweat on my forehead. When the last screw falls out, the door moves on its own. Just half an inch, enough to let air rush out. Cold, damp air. And beneath it, a sound. Not scratching, not whispering. Breathing. Shallow, fragile, human breathing. Marianne? The voice that answers is soft. He's in the wall. Then silence. Then knocking. From the wall beside me. 1, 2, 3. Then again. Each knock closer to the edge of the door. I pull it open and see nothing. The space inside is dark, empty, lined with old plaster. But the smell. God, the smell. Lavender, dust, and something rotten. At the very back of the space, something pale catches the light. A hand. Fingers curled, nails torn. The rest of her buried in the wall. And painted over. I stumble back, choking. The scarf on the counter flutters. The window across the alley slams shut. And behind me, the door closes itself. The police found me outside at dawn. They said I was sitting on the curb, covered in dust and paint. They tore open the wall. Found remains. Female, early 30s, Marianne Palmer. They said she'd been there for years. The building was supposed to be condemned. But I drive by sometimes. Someone else lives in 3B now. There's a light in the window. And sometimes, late at night, when I stop at the corner to look, I swear I can smell lavender.